I often say that style comes before substance. People will judge based on what they see first before they listen or before they discover what you have within, before they discover what your character is all about. Now, in the same way, when we meet people, there are some times where we meet people, but we do not meet them visually. We meet them maybe through social media, maybe through a conversation, or maybe we meet them through maybe a piece of literature, some words. We meet them non visually. What do you do when you meet people non visually? One of the things you have to do is qualify them as well. Just in the same way that style comes before substance, one of the things you have to do is just listen to what they say, listen to how they present themselves. I believe that in a few minutes of meeting someone, as a matter of fact, in the first sentence of you having a conversation with someone, you should be able to tell the level of their IQ, or you should be able to tell the level of their EQ, which is emotional intelligence. IQ meaning intellectual quotient, EQ meaning emotional intelligence. You can tell whether they're receptive to learning, whether they have a passion for knowledge, and you can do that simply by the quality of the question and the quantity of the questions they ask. There are some people who are closed minded, and that simply means that they believe in a philosophy of life, and it doesn't matter how bad you try to present what might be on the opposite side, they keep drumming their philosophies down, down, and down. So they're never going to change. You and I have to recognize those people because it means very quickly you've got to move on. It doesn't mean you don't maintain a relationship. It simply means that you don't try to change them. And you don't waste your time. You don't waste your money. You don't waste your emotions. You don't waste any time at all with them. Everything you do should be an investment. It doesn't mean that you have to get a return on what you put out. It simply means that it has to be good seed and you must put your seed in good soil. Let someone else enjoy the fruits, but let it be good soil. Walking into the desert and planting is stupid. It's a sign of what I might even call, I wouldn't even say ignorance, because ignorance it means that there's something you don't really know, but at least you're making an attempt. One of the things you and I must do is qualify relationships and qualify acquaintances and qualify people we engage with. You've got to protect your mind. This is the most important part of what I'm going to share. You have to protect your mind. And part of protecting your mind means you've got to be very careful and watchful about the kind of people and the type of information you allow into your mind. That information will come from interaction with certain people. And once you observe very quickly that maybe the type of information coming from the people you're communicating with doesn't make you a better person, isn't what we call good report. Put it this way. I love what Paul says. Paul says, anything that is just, anything that is true, anything that is noble, anything that is of good report, anything that's praiseworthy, if it be important, if it be good, then those are the things you want to allow into your world. In the same way, whenever you meet people, especially non-visually, because yes, you can see people visually and you can form an opinion, which is somewhat, in many cases, deceptive. You've got to now listen to what they say by trying to see whether you can understand their character. But when you do not have the opportunity to meet people visually, then you have to rely on their words. Because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Now, I'm not being sexist by using that reference, man. I'm just quoting a part of Proverbs. James Allen wrote a book taken out of the Proverbs verse, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. That was written by Solomon. So I think in today's terms, we'll be saying as a person thinks in their heart, so are they. As within, so without. So the way people speak and their words reveal their hearts. Your words reveal your IQ. reveal your EQ. Your words reveal the passion you have. As a matter of fact, the other day I came across, this was fascinating. I came across someone, and I think within the first probably a minute and a half, less than 2 minutes, I had asked the person probably about between 7 and 11 questions. And they said to me, after about maybe say 2 extra minutes, I came back again. I was going to ask a question, and they said to me, "You asked too many questions." Now, I found that interesting. As a matter of fact, I took that as a compliment. They didn't see it that way. I think were on they weren't at ease. And what I found out from that conversation was very few people take the time to think. Now, when you ask a question, you're forcing people to take the time to think. And you're forcing people to provide answers. And very few people are comfortable sharing their beliefs, their philosophies, their values. Very few people are comfortable sharing their truths, their persuasions, what they stand for. And part of that I understand because it's societal. It's part of where we live nowadays. Everyone wants to be closed. No one wants to share what they really believe and what they think because they want to be part of the group. They don't want to stand out. And I found from that reference, and I said, really? I said, I didn't realize that. I said, I'm just curious. I just have a fascination to learn. And the only way I can learn is to ask questions. Now, I heard someone say something. They said, and I could be wrong here, but they said, smart people have answers. Geniuses have great questions. Now, let me qualify something. I don't think I fall into the latter group. I'm far from that group. But I've learned by studying geniuses and by studying successful people and by studying my mentors that the key to life is to ask questions. As a matter of fact, I've come to the realization that you are one question away from everything that you want in life. But if you don't ask the question, you don't get the answer. Oprah Winfrey said, "You can have anything you want in life if you have the courage to ask for it." The reference in my favorite book says, ask, seek, and knock. ASK, ask, seek, and knock. And this is what it goes up forward to say. If you ask, you will find. If you ask, you will find. As in, it's there for you. It's there for you. All you have to do is just ask. Now, the 3 levels of those process, which is ASK, it means that if you ask sometimes, you won't get what you ask for. So you're going to have to do the next step, which is to seek, which is to go searching. If you seek sometimes, you won't get what you're looking for. Then you got to move up to the next stage. You got to go knocking. If you knock, maybe if you knock long enough and hard enough, someone will open the door. What that teaches me from that verse is that you need to have passion. You need to have curiosity. Hang around any young kids, and I just love the fact that they keep asking questions to the point where you get bored and irritated because they want to know. They keep asking you so many questions. And when we get to a certain age as adults, we stop asking questions. We just hope and wait for answers to come. Anyway, I've somewhat deviated from what I started talking about. Let me try to bring us back to where I started from. You have to learn how to qualify relationships. I know I've said so many times that it's important to focus on style because that's the way you make your appearance, and presentation makes a difference. People will welcome you and you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So styling is important as long as there's congruency between what you're putting yourself out there to look like or be, as long as you have congruency with who you are. So your character and who you're presenting yourself as has to be congruent. But once you go beyond style, then you go into what we call what's in it, which is character. You will not have the opportunity to qualify people visually because there's sometimes where you meet people non-visually, maybe over the phone, maybe over social media. Once you meet people over social media, study them, study their words, make specific observations to the type of words they use, and more than anything, see whether they take a position of a learner. Now, it doesn't mean you disregard them if they don't want to learn, but what you want to do is recognize the people who are not willing to learn. If you understand that there are some people you can't change, one of the people or groups of people you can never change are those who don't believe that they need help. So if they don't need help, let them be. Don't try to save the world. You're not Jesus. You're not a prophet. You're not any of the renowned, what would I call, evangelists and missionaries. No one needs saving in this world. We're fine. Everyone is fine just the way they are. There will be times when from people's conversations and communication, you can spot in their words, you might spot maybe hurt. You might spot passion. You might spot desire. You might spot interest. They have some curiosity. They're exciting. Maybe they're passionate. Maybe they're intriguing. When you find out a little bit more, then explore that. If it's someone who wants to learn, then you found someone that you can invest in. If it's someone who is closed, they have a closed mindset, a closed philosophy, I don't think you should go there. I have an open, I think to an extent, that over the years, I've developed a philosophy that is better than what it used to be. Before I had a closed mindset. But I'm open now. And one of the things that has made me open is every single month, every single year, whatever philosophies I have, I'm trying to prove them wrong. I'm not taking the position that they're right. I come from the position nowadays where I say, what if I'm wrong? What if I am wrong? And in many cases, I am usually wrong. And that positions you as a student, as a learner. And that would mean when you meet people who have a different opinion to you, the tone of how you introduce yourself, the tone of how you communicate with them has to be from the position that says, in my opinion. Now, I'll tell you where I learned that from, because this is powerful. This is beautiful as well. Back in the day when I was still in the corporate world, I had someone who worked with me, and he was in my team. And I found a statement he always made to be extremely fascinating. He would say, Mensa, in my opinion, I think we should consider doing this way. Whenever there was a conversation about something and we had specific views, maybe different views, every time he was going to put his view out, he would always say, in my opinion. Now that's powerful. Why? Because it positioned him as a learner. What he was trying to say is, I'm not saying you're all wrong. I'm just saying in my opinion. And my opinion doesn't have to be law. Anyway, I'm going to stop now. I think I've gone on for much more than I would have wanted. I want to wish you all the best, but just remember what I said. Qualify every relationship. Qualify every relationship.